Sup. The opinions and views expressed in this podcast are that of our own and Future Bachelor only, and not affiliated with any outside party or entity. This fun podcast may include some adult language.
Future Bachelor Podcast.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Future Bachelor. My name is Sai.
I'm Veronica. So he just gave me the weirdest look.
I know.
I was like kind of jamming, and then he was like, "Oh," but I was like, "Oh."
Sorry, we're starting the show, V. With or without you. Let's go. Oh my goodness. Why are all my sound effects so loud? I don't understand. But
I don't. What? I can't hear you.
Regardless,
You just blew my ears out.
guys, we made it past episode 69 to make it to episode 70. So what's up? Numbers. What comes after 70?
Oh, for Christ's sake.
I'm just joking. How's it going, V? That was an interesting last podcast we had last week.
Yeah, it was a fun one.
Getting a lot of good feedback about it. What have you been hearing from the streets?
From the street.
The
Streets. Step up to the streets.
Step up. Streets too.
I've been hearing a lot of people are very interested in what they were learning, and just they really loved the dynamics of us with our guests, Melissa and Caleb. A lot of my ladies were also like, "It was nice hearing another lady who also agrees with you, V." And I was like, I know.
Wait, TM didn't agree with you?
I know TM did agree with me, but also just another lady that would call you out.
Oh, okay. Because I got called out, right?
Yeah.
With what?
You got called out about if your masculinity was feeling challenged by the whole Jermaine Dupri pussy rapping situation.
I mean, that's not really being called out though. That was a question she asked, and I don't think I felt any type of way about it. It's just the dynamic of the show is always to have both sides be presented, and in that situation,
I don't like to make a dichotomy. All sides.
Well, I'm just saying, I like to be able to explain myself. From
of course.
Maybe also what's it called? What's the saying? Devil's advocate, always trying to see both points, because we aren't always going to have the same type of people listening and stuff. So, it's always nice to be able to say both sides and stuff, but I didn't feel called out then.
Okay.
Regardless though, I feel having, guests like that on the show is really, it was an interesting episode. I listened to it 3 or 4 times, and it's just one of those things where you can take away, you don't have to agree, you don't have to do it or whatever that.
Yeah, that's what everybody who talked to me.
I gotta turn off the AC.
I'm
gonna make you the AC person now.
Okay.
Another responsibility, but continue.
Any hoozles. Anybody who talked to me was saying, they're I might not practice what they're doing, their relationship anarchy, being open and that kind of stuff. They're but what they're talking about, communication and everything like that, obviously that's something I'm trying to work, that's what my friends and even I guess trying to always work on, even romantic relationships, friendships, whatever, just because it is something that I feel especially people within our generation don't practice enough, making sure we're communicating how we're feeling, or where we're at, or what we want, or things like that.
Well, friendships can be a lot like a relationship.
They're a type of relationship.
It's minus the sex.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
it's a
saying?
type of relationship.
So you can definitely feel a certain type of way, just like you were in a actual relationship. So there was things I took away from it. Different the communication part is definitely something I was keying into and stuff, and I just want to continue to work on myself and hear other people's point of views, and I want to have them back on the show. We don't always have to talk about them, but just get their point of view on topics that are happening and stuff. So I really appreciate them coming on, and you guys will be hearing again from them soon here on the show. How's everything been in your last week, V?
Well, I was back in Chicago / also I was in my hometown. Going back and forth between Chicago and there. This past weekend, I went to Pitchfork Music Festival, which is in the city, with my brother Jack. It was I'll do his little shout out right now. It was his birthday weekend. He's 18 now. He's my baby brother. So yeah, that was kind of like my little gift to him, was like being back with him for that. I bought him like whatever, merch that he wanted for his gift. And
That's
then,
cool.
My mom joined us on Friday of the fest to meet up with us. We saw Haim and stuff. That was the headliner that night.
Oh my goodness.
I've
been wanting to see Haim.
I love Haim. They're
Yeah.
just so cool. Like, they're cool girls. They're genuine. And they're amazing musicians.
Right.
Like, it's unreal.
I really thought they were like, I mean, they kind of had like a moment like about like a year or two ago, but I really thought they were going to like blow up even more because like, first of all, they just got like, they're all like pretty in their own ways and stuff like that. But like literally like, that one sister that plays the bass makes all the faces and stuff like that. It's just like so crazy. And like the lead sister and stuff.
Danielle, yeah.
And then like the one that's like the smallest one, she's actually I think like the oldest sister.
She's the
right?
youngest.
Oh, she's the youngest one. Oh,
Yes.
the oldest one is the bassist.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So
I was like obsessed.
SD is the oldest. Danielle's the lead singer. She's the middle. And
Yeah.
then Alana is the youngest. And she's the one usually like on the keyboard and like on the like stuff.
Okay. So yeah, I mean their videos are dope. They did this cover of Shania Twain that I
Yes,
really
that
like.
we love. It's on our it's on the Future Bachelor podcast playlist.
And
Ooh,
we got
it never gets easier.
Yeah, no, it gets harder actually because we are getting dumber. But regardless, no, that's cool. I want to
a
really
lot of
see.
fun.
They're on my bucket list of artists.
It was
to see.
hot as fuck this
Yeah.
weekend in Chicago, though. Like, crazy ass heat wave. I was just like standing in my sweat for 2-3 days straight because it was 100 degrees.
Yeah, festivals usually be like that, but it must have
like,
been like ridiculously hot.
It was so hot.
In the Windy City.
Well, the Windy City, I feel like I've said it before on this podcast. It is not called the Windy City. Like, it didn't get that name from the actual wind. It got it
really?
from the wind that politicians. Yeah, nobody knows that. When the politicians blew, it was like called like, the Windy City, like the Windy politician. It was a whole thing.
Yeah.
Look it up. Google is your friend.
Well, anytime I've gone there, it's been pretty cold. So, it's
Well, yeah,
interesting
but
to
like
see.
people always are like, well, doesn't it not get hot in the summers? I'm like, no, it gets hot as hell in the summers of Chicago. Like, it gets so hot.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you made it back.
I did.
You had fun with the fam and stuff.
Yeah, I did. It was a good time.
What is this whole running into your ex-boyfriend?
Okay, so
thing?
I feel like I've talked about it before. I've talked about, and it's funny because I guess I realize now that like a lot of my like people that I dated briefly or like went on dates with or like people who I would consider like exes of some sort of level here in Atlanta, a large majority of them live in a very close vicinity to me.
Okay.
So like we'll usually be around in some of the same areas as me, potentially because they live there.
Yeah.
And usually I feel like I'm lucky enough to never run into them. Like I have an ex-boyfriend from like last year who literally lives probably 2 blocks from me.
Okay.
And I have not seen him once since we broke up last summer. I have not seen him one time. But then there's this other guy who I like dated very briefly, went on a couple dates at the top of the year, end of last year. And I've like run into him multiple times with my current boyfriend. Like,
oh, wow.
It's just like, and so like we were literally out last night, like getting beer at Pour right on the east side Beltline area, and homie who used to work at he still does, he used to work at a different pizza place, now works at Nina and Rafi, which is another pizza place. So we literally.
So you've been avoiding this other pizza place for a while because you thought he was there. Now he's at your face.
Nina and Rafi, so I'm not gonna avoid it.
Right.
So it's just like, it's just like whatever. I don't really care.
So
like,
what happened? Were you on a date with your new boyfriend?
Yeah, I was on it, but like,
Well, you're always with your new boyfriend when you run into these exes.
yeah. So like, but
Maybe you should have so many exes.
Like last time, well, it was the same guy. It was the same guy.
damn.
So like, we didn't like actually like. I don't think he actually saw me. I just saw him. Like I was literally talking.
Honestly, I don't know why this guy's working at the movie theater when you're going there. Why is he working at the pizza place when you're working? He's stalking you, V.
He wasn't working at the movie theater. He thought I was. He like didn't recognize me at first. Remember, and he thought I was.
Yeah,
working
that's what
at the movie
stalkers say
theater.
when they catch them in public. Oh, do you work here? No. But yeah. Anyways, that's
so
crazy.
Just, you know what? Just a reminder that Atlanta is too small.
Yeah, I feel you. Well, I had a crazy fun weekend back
you
in
were
Orlando.
back home.
So my sister and my brother-in-law, Puma and Victor, are having a baby boy. Whoa!
Hey! And were you team pink? I thought you were wearing all pink.
I was. Yeah, let me start the clap.
Indeed.
Yeah, I was. I was wearing pink because like
you own a lot of pink.
I do. I love pink. It's my favorite color. And but with that being said, it's like I already have 3 nephews and I have 2 nieces. It would even it up a little bit.
Oh, I love that.
I've been feeling my nieces a little bit more. Like, you know, they're like they can do like the boys stuff too, and they're also just like really sweet and they like to like hang out and stuff. The boys kind of do their own things on like the games and you know whatever. I haven't seen my other nephews in a while, but this one is gonna be dope because like you're
so close with your sister,
right?
Too,
I'm like I see my sister all the
Victor.
time, and you know Victor's one of my best friends and stuff. So I'm definitely gonna be in this kid's life probably a lot more. I'm just older now too, like you know, so I can.
You're gonna be such a funkle, fun uncle.
A funkle? That's what they're called? Oh my goodness, that might be the name of this episode.
Because Gunkle is gay uncle, so you're a funkle.
No, I'm definitely a funkle. I'm a
remember, we're 110%,
150% straight here. Yeah, anyways, it's gonna be cool. And you know, I was rooting for the girl because like I knew I'd be happy with either or. And you know, when you get yourself hyped up with the girl and you get the boy, you're like, okay, it's a boy. You know, we got another one. That
reminds me of like what is his name? He's a country star. Cute Thomas Rhett.
Okay.
Him and his wife, they like literally I think the same day.
Oh, they adopted like a black girl and then they found out she was pregnant.
They have a daughter. So they have their daughter that they adopted. They have another daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And so like the wife is pregnant again. And like I think they literally released like their gender reveal thing the same day that your sister did.
I think I saw that.
And like you know, so they
had the dust cannons.
They had like they had 2 girls, like they were all dressed in blue because they were like, we want a boy.
Yeah.
And it was pink, and like Thomas
3
Rhett's
girls.
face was just like, oh my god. And he like, I mean, like he was a good sport about it, but like he did like post his caption, and he was like, well, I guess I'm gonna be paying for 3 weddings now.
Right, I saw that. I mean, you know, it's always cool to get the boy. And my sister told me, you know, she wanted to have a boy because you said me and her are so close, she kind of wants that kind of thing with like her kids, you know. But you can't always get what you want, so she might
always get. I mean, like, yeah, I really wanted my final brother to be after I was just like, oh my god, happy birthday, Jack. Like, I really wanted him to be a girl.
Yeah, you wanted him to be a Jacqueline.
I was gonna name her Sophia.
Okay. How was gonna name her?
No, that was the thing. My parents said that I could help name her.
Oh.
And technically,
so you're bad luck.
Technically, Jack's name is named after my brother Vince's imaginary friend. So.
Oh my god.
My mom will be like, no, he's not. But like literally, that's where that name Jack came from. That's literally where that name Jack came from.
Yeah. So the messed up part about it is my sister told me that like apparently they like messed up and like put the sex of a baby on. She has like some like app that like they updated and she found out that way.
So
she wasn't even she couldn't even, she was like pretty upset about it, but it was still cool like to get everybody together, all of us to like, it was like crazy how like the party was like, no, like Victor wasn't pressing her to find out and stuff, and they'd already planned this thing and stuff, so he was like really the one surprised, and they haven't really had like a young boy in the family and stuff for a while, so were really rooting for, their family was rooting blue, our family was rooting pink. It was like half and half.
I know,
like,
your mom sent me a picture of
me and both my mom changed instantly into our blues like right afterwards. And the funny part is I'm like, Mom, that changed really fast, but then I went and changed and they're like, dude, you're just like your mom. I'm like, damn, man.
I know, because your mom sent me a picture of her and your pops like in all pink, like full pink outfits holding the dog.
And then they're in blue.
She's like, we're team pink. And I was like, thanks, Marty.
Yeah. So that was great. I'm gonna have a nephew and he's coming in January 2020. So
I hope, crossing my fingers, you have a little Capricorn boy, because I'm gonna
freak,
let you know,
get him in on that.
Yeah.
All right, so now that we got that all out the way, why don't we talk about maybe some quick hits?
Yeah, I mean, we both were on planes. We got back on planes.
I'm kind of sick of planes.
I know. Me too.
If you walk the extra long way to your terminal, like
I always walk.
I know.
Why the fuck am I gonna get on the plane train with the peasants when I could get some exercise? Plus, then I get my content. It's a thing. It's part of my brand. People like send me Snapchats of it too. They'll be like, V?
Yeah, because you do it every time. You're like,
because it's my thing. Okay. I have a highlight of it.
I used to do it with the airplane window, but then I started getting these like aisle seats and stuff. I was like, I had to like stretch out, like, yo, dude, for the content. He's like, get your hand out of my face.
Excuse me,
I was
sir.
sleeping.
Excuse me, could you just take a quick pic of the window for me?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh,
What's your Instagram handle? I'll tag you.
It's like a 4-year-old kid. But anyways.
They probably take a great picture.
What do you have for quick hits?
Okay, so Taylor Swift, honestly, enemy of the show.
Enemy of the show. Enemy of the show. When did she become the enemy of the show?
I don't know, just recently.
Okay, cool. Anyways.
So she dropped a new single. Ooh, surprise, new single.
Well, did you hear it?
I did.
Oh, okay. I thought it was dropped.
It was dropped on.
Oh, you sent me the notification. Yeah,
it was
okay.
dropped yesterday.
Okay.
So Tuesday of this week.
I didn't hear it yet. Is it good?
It's better than Me and You Need to Calm Down, but like that's a very low bar.
Yeah.
I feel like it doesn't sound as like, it has a little bit more edge to it. I feel like it sounds but it's still, I don't know. Like, I just feel like I've outgrown Taylor Swift's, like, she's like really, like we've talked about it before. I feel like she's really reverting back to like her shit, but like, I kind of am like, okay, like I love your original stuff, like Fearless album and stuff like that, because like I was, 15, 16 listening to it, and like this related to me, and like I can listen back to it now and be nostalgic, but like I don't really have the need to be listening to like this same kind of stuff as a 25-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'd rather like be nostalgic with stuff that is from the past. You know what I mean by that?
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I hear you. I think I'm also trying to put myself in the shoes of like someone like her or someone in that position to have to continue. Like, it's hard to keep your fan base as you grow with them. Like, your older fans
she's
want
about to be 30,
but it's like if you want your longevity, you have to get the young kids too. So it's like, I
mean, like I feel like Ariana has like kind of done it. Like she, like even just from being at her concerts, like she has, like the little teeny boppers or younger.
Yeah, you're making good
and then
songs.
She's got,
you're
like,
just making good songs. Like, so it has nothing to do with like I feel like she's trying like some type of gimmicky thing. I don't understand.
I just, and I will stand by it. I really think.
And why is she dropping singles? Like, where's your album? Like, you have dropped 3 songs now, and
she keeps like promoting her. I mean, her album comes out August like 23rd or some shit. So it's coming, but I'm like, okay. And it was a surprise, like Tuesday drop, and Little Miss Queen of like, I hate streaming services, even like calling them out for like being whatever in one of her Reputation videos. Now it's like gung ho, and like even had like, I got a push notification from Spotify.
Yeah. Remember when she didn't even have her music on Spotify?
No, like she literally just put it on there.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so you go with like, Republic Records or whatever. And like, I'm sure like they're like making all these like deals or whatever. Like I feel like, she's talking all this smack about like holding the integrity, and that's why she wasn't gonna like stick with Big Machine just to like earn back her masters or whatever, like all this stuff. I'm just kind of like, okay, like I feel like you're walking a fine line, because like I obviously understand playing the game, like you want people to listen to your music. You want like to create that buzz, you want to do what you want to do that, and like I understand that, but it's like but then you're also gonna like talk this other stuff about like not being about that. So it's just kind of like, I don't know. I just like, you know what, I can't like I don't think I'm gonna be like a big fan of this album coming out anyways, just based on what's already been coming out.
Right.
But
well, I thought like her newer songs like had more of a Broadway sound to it, and it's funny too because she's gonna be in that like
she's in Cats. Oh God. Okay, we gotta transfer to that now because I have feelings.
Okay, felines. Oh,
dude,
dude, do I have to do it? I thought that was pretty good though.
Okay, so Cats.
Yeah.
Cats. I'm not even like a big theater nerd. I have friends that are more theater nerdy than me. Cats, like the actual show, like I only sort of know about like the actual Broadway production, but like in general, it's a really
what I remember of it was always like
concept.
It was just like the commercial was like Cats, and it would be like these like people just yeah, like going into a spotlight, just climbing on it all over each other and stuff. I'm just like, I'll never go see that show, but people love it.
It's wild. Well, it's just like even like it's very like kind of more of like a cult kind of classic. It's like not really like, I feel like it's campy. Yeah, it's camp. But they're doing a movie version of it, and instead live action, and instead of doing, obviously they do costumes and face paint and prosthetics and whatever for the Broadway shows, and there's an earlier movie version of like the show that they've done. Instead they're like, no, we're gonna do all CGI, like lifelike fur, whatever. Okay, It's horrifying.
Yeah.
I watched the trailer. It's horrifying.
Yep, that might be the cover or something of our album.
It's horrifying because like they look kind of like similar to like when there was the whole Sonic like brouhaha.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it looks like.
It looks like very bizarre because it's like they're giving human features to then like very like it's like cat bodies but like human faces.
Ugh.
But like also human hands. So like, and then half of them like have some sort of clothes on, and then half of them are like not clothed, and like they don't have like cat noses. They have normal, and like they have maybe like
whiskers.
They barely have any whiskers. There's
They got
maybe
lips.
like
Do they have boobs?
yeah, like they
She
kind
got a
of
body.
do.
Damn.
Yeah, like they kind of have boobs. Yeah, one
Me,
of them,
yeah.
like one of them's like a lot of them are like professional dancers, and like there's the one meme that's been going around is Jennifer Hudson because she's in it.
Oh, okay.
And everyone's been making the joke about how like it's like oh like whatever the character names of Jennifer Hudson and Beyonce are, they're like oh they're fighting it out again because it's like this like came like Jennifer Hudson as like
Cats.
a cat and then like Beyonce as Nala.
Yeah. That's interesting.
But anyways, like just like the
Beyonce's
meme.
winning.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That she won in Dreamgirls too.
Oh, damn. Okay.
But like the face, just like their faces look ridiculous. Like Jason Derulo's in it, Idris Elba's in it. Like, but like they don't. It's just really bizarre because it's like, okay, that's Jason Derulo, but with some fur.
Yeah, I don't know if that movie's even going to do that great.
Everyone's been very similarly to the whole Sonic thing. They're like, no, this needs to be fixed. Like this is like people are like, I'd almost rather us just like do like the more like costumey look. Like that's the whole point. Like it's supposed to look. You know.
Yeah, I don't get it. Anyways, what
It's
else we
weird.
got?
Anyway,
Enough of Taylor Swift. We'll probably get back to her later.
We'll get back to her later. So in sad relationship news for Riverdale fans, Lily Reinhart, who plays Betty, and Cole Sprouse, who plays Jughead, the love of my life,
Or also
broke
one
up.
half of the kid that played in Big Daddy.
Also, one half of the twin
Zack and
set in
Cody.
Zack and Cody.
Yeah.
Anyways, they're broken up. Maybe this means I have a chance with Cole. Who knows? But
Why'd they break up?
I think it was I like kind of was seeing some stuff. I don't really know the exact reasoning, but like they definitely been on the rocks for like a little bit, and they had Comic-Con and their whole team was like their whole cast was there for that, and like they kind of were weird about it then. So
All right, what else we got? Some Bachelor news here?
So JoJo, we all know JoJo from
Fan
her
favorite,
season.
one of people's
She's
favorite
honestly
bachelorettes.
my favorite bachelorette. She's
Mine too.
She's the prettiest.
Yep.
She has her own clothing line. She's doing
cool.
great. Her and Jordan have been engaged for 3 years, and they're finally going to get married, which I'm like, oh, normal relationship kind
Mm-hmm.
of progression. But they actually have a little show that I think it's going to be on CBS. It's called Cash Pad. And it's like they did a lot of like, they flip a lot of houses and stuff to be rented out as kind of like Airbnbs or like vacation homes or stuff like that. And it should be really cool. It's weird enough.
That's
like,
a good idea.
I don't really follow JoJo. I follow her fiance, Jordan Rogers, brother of Aaron Rodgers. And
of baseball fame.
everyone knows that you're just joking. Anyways, but it should be really cool. I feel like this is like a new trend for like celebrities right now because people love like HGTV kind of shows.
Yeah.
Where like Scott.
They're trying to make them like the new, like, you know, house flipping couple.
Yeah, 'cause, like-
sexy house flipping couple.
I mean, they're hot as hell.
Yeah,
But
they
like, even like Scott Disick is doing Flip It Like Disick show. So like he's also like flipping. Everyone's like flipping houses. I think it's just like, you know, if you
it's easy because
like,
they don't have to do anything. They just have to walk in and be like, we're
they
going
have
to do this.
Like, yeah, they work, you know, they get the right people to design, they get the right
Who's blowing you up?
contractors. I don't know.
Your phone is vibrating
I
like
don't
crazy.
know.
It's
like
distracting.
vibrating on my ass.
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 Well, cool for them. What do we got here? Bindi Irwin is engaged.
Okay, so
Do you remember when
she's
she was a baby?
yeah, she's 21 and she's engaged, and I'm just like, holy hell, I feel old, but also
Bindi
like,
Irwin's got a
you're
body.
young. I know she's cute.
She got a body.
All right, let's calm down there.
Okay, sorry.
But also,
Crikey.
also engaged are fan favorite from The Bachelor, Bachelorette, technically, actually from JoJo's season. Wells Adams.
Wells Adams, bartender on Bachelor in Paradise.
Yes, he was a contestant on Bachelor in Paradise after JoJo's season. But he the reason, and actually, you know, his Bachelorette fame, Bachelor Paradise fame, is the reason why him and Sarah Hyland are now engaged.
Sarah Hyland from Modern Family.
Yeah, she hit him up. Like, she tweeted out, because she's a big Bachelorette franchise fan. She like tweeted out, she's like, oh my God, like when he first was being the bartender, like, oh my God, Wells Adams is the freaking bartender, best season of Bachelor in Paradise yet, can't wait, like blah blah. And then they were flirting from there, and then they started dating, and now they're getting married.
Good for him, man. And he gets to hang out with Sofia Vergara like all the time.
Ugh. Anyways,
Lance Bass said that he came out to Britney Spears first at her wedding.
Like, was one of the first people that he came out to, and it was when she went to Vegas in 2004 and was getting married to Jason Alexander, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
They got that annulled like within like 2-3 days.
Yeah.
But like, I guess, like, you know, she, like, they did like a quickie Vegas ceremony, and then she was like sobbing in like her bedroom afterwards, 'cause she's like, oh my God, what did I do, blah 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 blah. And like Lance was trying to calm her down, and he's like, well, I'm gay. And she's like kind of just,
that does make me feel better.
and she just kind of chuckled, and she was like, that's good for you. Like, she was just like so nice about it, but it was like, he was like, it worked.
Yeah.
Like, she calmed down.
Interesting. I wonder if they're still friends.
I wonder.
So what else we got here?
So Quentin Tarantino has his new, and I think his potentially last movie.
This is his 7th movie.
Yeah, that just came out, and it's or is coming out. I think it's like, I don't think the premiere was like last week, so I think it hits theaters like this week.
Yeah.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yep.
And
Bringing back Leonardo DiCaprio and Margot Robbie
and
from Wolf of Wall Street fame.
and Brad Pitt whatever. So there's kind of like, you know, old like 70s, 60s Hollywood, and it has Margot Robbie portraying Sharon Tate, or like kind of her kind of character. And
of the Charles Manson fame.
yes, there's it's a whole bunch of Charles Manson kind of situations in that movie.
But it's like a fictional story based around true events.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we talked about this before, like Sharon Tate's family like had an issue with like them having her play this and stuff. Like, they're like, why are you doing this to our family? Like, you know. But regardless, what else happened?
Anyway, so he got some backlash right around when it was premiering at Cannes, and he, like, because they're like, how come like Margot Robbie says like barely any lines in this movie? And, you know, he backed it up saying, you know, he's like, I definitely was very invested in her, like Sharon Tate's personal story and learning all about that. But he's like, but that's not what I wanted to make this movie about. And so like, I was trying to like more portray her and her story in a different way, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. Like, there's like the story really, I mean, it weaves through the story that he's trying to tell. Like, like I said, it's a fictional story based around true events. So it's not like he wants to really change the true events story part too much, you know?
It's just like a lot of people that are like, oh, the Bechdel test kind of deal, where it's like, okay, why, you know, there's 2 male leads and like women are barely saying anything kind of deals. People like got a little bit pissy about it. So we added 2 full minutes of more Margot Robbie. I
mean, I'm not complaining, but how does that make you feel?
You know, I can understand artistically what he was trying to do, but I also...
Do you feel like we're like having to women wash everything like at all?
Women wash. I'm
just saying I didn't know a better word for it.
I don't really think we could ever say that, because like women, like if you look at any, like there's so many great infographics on like most movies don't pass the Bechdel test, where it's like, it's like, how much screen time are women getting? Are they only talking about stuff related to men? Are like they only talking when other women are on this? Like things like, there's like a whole bunch of different things that are for the Bechdel test, and most even modern movies barely pass that. Yeah. And
but I mean, like as like a gimmick, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
but I don't think it's gimmicky when it's like we're just...
Well, when you're getting forced into it, like when it affects a story, like this is the guy's story, and like just because
2 minutes isn't really like affecting, and like
right, that's almost like insulting.
That's
like throwing a tip, like $1 tip at your Uber Eats driver. It's like, keep your money. It's insulting.
It's like kind of like he's like, oh, I wanted to extend this scene anyway, so here it is. Yeah. And it's kind of like, for me, I'm like, okay, I'd rather you either just like give her actual more lines or more presence in the story, or then just like really
but as being a creative, like, it's like, you know what I'm saying, like, what if the story was just about 2 guys? Like, you know what I'm saying, like, it just, What are they gonna say that about Brokeback Mountain? Like it's just like of course, because it's like it's about two guys and their story. Like it's like if you threw like more woman into it, it would affect the story.
Like, I think what it comes down to, like especially like speaking about the Sharon Tate thing, I think it's like because like she's like kind of like her bit of it is like an integral part of like the narrative. I think that's maybe where people had like a bigger issue is like, okay, we're throwing her in there, she has an integral part, but like we're not gonna let her speak more. Is kind of like more of the issue, I think, is what it comes down to.
I just like like I just feel like I wouldn't want anybody telling me how to like make my story, like as far as like like that's just your creative like thing. And also like I hate like noticing that just because like of the climate right now, like all the movies have to just have women in it, and it's like Terminator.
I mean,
like
more than 50% of the population is women, though.
That's fine, but I'm saying it's all happening at once, like what I'm saying, and it's like
well, it's like,
a gimmick. It's not like
but
the story.
I think it's more like why did it take so long to like give women more equal representation? I don't know, but it's like
I mean, yeah, I guess, but what I'm saying, like, it's like we're almost using it all like right now, and it's like then it's gonna be it's like 007 Terminator right now. They did it to like Ghostbusters. I just feel like they're doing it not because of just like women, but because of pressure of having to put a woman in there. It's like, why don't we just create a story that is like a 007 but for a woman? Like it's just been to me, it's
she's
just like,
not gonna be like Bon. Like that's actually like I
haven't read too much about it, but like to me, I thought I'm like, so they're just gonna make her like a Bon, like
no.
So
no, like she it's more like she's like kind of like I feel like more with
Hold on, so she's just like another agent in the agency, so she's not gonna be like Bond.
Like she's not.
I'm confused because like
hang on, right. What is her name? 007.
I don't know, but like what I'm saying, like I don't have a problem with like I just feel like it's gimmicky, like that's my issue with it. I just feel like let's just throw a woman in here right now because like and I think it affects the story a little bit too, like the integrity of like some of these properties, like so. And it's just like I don't mind like the Terminator ones so much because those are just robots and stuff, and they're bringing back cool characters from like Terminator 2 and stuff, but like I don't know, some of these things just seem like kind of gimmicky to me. I don't know how they're
so it's like I'm reading the Harper Bazaar article about it right now. So like Lashana Lynch, who's gonna be playing the new 007, like people are like, oh, so she's taking over for like Daniel Craig, and it's like no, like she's not the new Bond, but a new character who takes over his secret agent number after he leaves the thing. So like she takes in over the number.
So it's not like James Bond, it's 007. And so it's kind of like the Bourne Identity when they got like Jeremy Renner or whatever, like for like a couple for an episode or something. But like that. What other one was there that they just recently did that too? Ghostbusters, like like.
Yep, I mean Ghostbusters got a ton of hate, but I
mean, yeah, they're remaking it now again, like to be kind of back to the original, but. I don't know. Sometimes I just feel like they're just doing it just like because
which
of like,
I agree.
Don't you get that sense?
I agree with you with the sense like some people shouldn't be just doing movies just like to be like, look, like here, like give me a cookie. Right. I'm being diverse. I'm being like whatever. But I don't think like that's the intention behind most of them. I think it's more like, and it kind of comes down to like
Charlie's Angels. I could see why they would bring that back, and that's like very woman empowering and stuff like that. And I get that.
I feel like this one isn't as shot as much in like a male gaze as like, but original Charlie's Angels was like, yeah, woman empowerment. But I was like, oh, these are our sex symbols.
Like it'd be really interesting for me to see, like if they flipped it and took all these like girl properties, but like put guys in them instead. Like Charlie's Angels was just 3 guys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like the guys from Workaholics or something.
yeah, but yeah.
That's how gimmicky it kind of feels sometimes. It's like just throwing like guys at like on a girl property or something like that. Like they did with like Ocean's 11. They did it with like all female cast.
But yeah.
But Ocean's 11 had like I think like. When was that all guys in?
It's always all guys.
Was it really? I
think Rihanna was in like one. No, she was in the. She was in Ocean's.
No, Julia Roberts was like in it, but like I guess she was like
she was a love interest, i.e. Bechdel test. That's what
I think in Ocean's 12 she became a 12th one.
Yeah, but she was still a love interest.
True.
So
but yeah, so I will see what happens with that. What else we got here?
Okay, so Austin Butler, who is also he's in Once Upon a whatever. He plays Rex as part of like the whole Charles Manson situation. Yeah. He is being tapped to play Elvis in the new Baz Luhrmann biopic. I always want to say biopic. I don't know. That sounds right to me, but I guess
I think it's just I've heard two people. I've heard both ways.
But anyways, he's gonna play him in
biopic. Sounds like more like yeah, like don't be throwing your words at me like biopic and stuff, you know. Biopic is the way I would say it, you know.
Yeah.
After a long work day.
But anyway, so that should be cool. I know G-Eazy was sort of like in the running for that, but he's just like too tall. I couldn't see gangly.
Him as...
Like he's like more like Greaser level. I don't like he's like not I don't see him like being like, "Ooh, the devil's music. Look at it, those gyrating hips."
Speaking of more actors and actresses,
Tessa Thompson is going to be the first openly LGBTQ, like I think she's going to be more identified as bi, which I think she is in real life. With Valkyrie in the Thor Love and Thunder movie that will be coming out I think next year.
I didn't think they were going to come with another Thor.
Yeah, because
they didn't announce like Guardians of the Galaxy 3 in the Marvel Phase 4.
I don't remember if they did, but they
because
announced,
like Thor went off with the Galaxy.
But they announced Thor: Love and Thunder. That was one of them that was announced.
They're bringing back Natalie Portman. Yeah. And because I really thought they were gonna go that way with Captain Marvel. Like I thought they were gonna make her like the first like, you know, lesbian superhero or whatever.
No, I think she's just more like I don't have to have a love interest because I'm just a badass motherfucker.
I get myself off.
Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah.
Nobody knows you better. But
what do we got here? What's A Beautiful Day?
Oh my god,
Mr. Rogers. So
the Mr. Rogers movie with Tom Hanks starring as the one, the only Mr. Rogers.
He looks just like him.
I saw a little side by side with like the opening scene of like how Mr. Rogers starts his show is like tossing the shoe when he's like putting on his like sneakers and he's like zipping up his cardigan. And did I cry when I watched the trailer because it dropped? Yes, I did. I cried. I'm ready for this movie. It's gonna emotionally destroy me. I saw the documentary Won't You Be My Neighbor about Mr. Rogers, and I sobbed through it. It was so good. And then I watched it again on an airplane and I sobbed through it then. So watch that if you're a Mr. Rogers fan and get hyped for this movie.
I just really wonder what it's like to be like a Mr. Rogers type of person.
He's just like, he's incredible. Like watching the documentary is like, he was so like into children learning about the world and learning how to like I feel like we need Mr. Rogers nowadays honestly to help develop some of these kids because like about children learning about how to like develop their feelings and talk about their feelings and work through their feelings and like understanding that those things were normal. Like he talked about like heavy shit on his show. He like talked about like when it was like relevant like assassination and what that meant and like different things like that like in a way for kids to be able to approach it where it was kind of like, you know, like
there's really nobody like Mr. Rogers around anymore or something?
No, he honestly changed the game for children's television back in a time where everything was just like physical comedy and it was like so aggressive and it was like clowns and it was like whatever and it was all like blah, and it was just very loud and obnoxious and he changed it into being like a very much like I'm gonna like be your child's friend, but like not even in a creepy way.
Right.
He was so like I have like so much respect for everything that he did and he was like just such an integral part of like how so many people grew up. Like my mom was definitely a Mr. Rogers kid. Yeah. And
I mean, I saw it on TV growing up.
Yeah, like he had like he transcends generations. Yeah. Like it's just unreal. So
I know. You just like wait for something bad to come out about him, and there's nothing like
no. Like
bad.
May he rest in peace, man. Yeah. He did. Oh, there's like a postscript to the documentary where like it went back around to like one of the kids who like came on the show.
Was he ever like married or?
Yeah, he was married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy life. Happy wife.
Yeah.
Wow.
All that.
Did he have kids?
Yes. Yes.
Really?
Yes, because I think I remember seeing. Yeah, I feel like in the documentary it brings up like one of his kids or whatever, and being like, "Do you know how crazy it was to have like Mr. Rogers as your dad?"
That's crazy. That's a lot. He was probably doing drugs and stuff. He's like,
No, I think he's actually kind of wholesome. Like, I
oh,
think
just
he's
joking.
actually
Of
kind of
course
cool.
he was.
But like, but yeah,
He's
it
in
was
jail on death row.
It was wild.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well,
that's my soapbox on Mr. Rogers. I'm
feel
gonna go
like
watch that trailer.
You learn a new word there, soapbox. We haven't said that too much since last week. I like that. I was gonna say it like a little while ago too. Melissa's got an influence on us. What made you go yikes this week, Veronica?
Okay.
What like really made you go yikes?
So.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're already gearing up for the 2020 elections.
Yeah.
And Kamala Harris is one of the main candidates for the Democratic Party right now.
Is that California?
Is she from California?
I believe she is. She's
She's a senator.
Yeah,
Or is she in the House?
I think she represents California. But
anywho, yeah, she does, because she is. But I'm like trying to make sure I get everything right.
You're good.
So she can't count on Taylor Swift fans' votes, probably, unless they forget about it. Unless unless Taylor Swift's new album just brainwashes them and they totally forget about all this. But Kamala Harris was at a fundraising event at Scooter Braun's place with like, you know, all the main guests, like took a picture with like Demi Lovato, Ariana Grande, whomever. All of them were there. And Swiftie fans are pissed.
Yeah, I mean, what? So they're saying they won't vote for her?
They say they won't vote for her because, like, you know, she's associating with like somebody so slimy, like Scooter Braun. Like, people, like all these like fans were like tweeting her, like, I really was like looking forward to voting for you and all this stuff, but seeing what like who you associate with the likes of, like, I'm just so disappointed. Like, especially after what Scooter's done to Taylor Swift, like blah blah blah. And I'm saying yikes because, like, for Kamala's sake, she definitely was like trying to do a thing, being like, look at me with all these, you know, young celebs, whatever. Like, good for you. Like, she's trying to get out there, trying to relate to certain different parts of her demographic. Okay. But the timing is rough because, like, obviously the whole Taylor Swift Scooter Braun feud is still fresh.
Yeah.
And as we have said many a time, stan groups, any sort of stans, go hard in the paint. And Swiftie fans are no.
So do you think like Taylor Swift wouldn't be all about her because of this?
I don't know. I mean, Taylor Swift hasn't come out and said anything specifically.
Because she'd be just as dumb as like, I mean, if she's just like basing things off of just because like you had a fundraiser, that's someone that could raise you money.
Also, like, I mean, Scooter Braun, like, whatever, like Taylor Swift, like, is still trying to play victim for that whole situation, which, like, she made her decisions and she knew what she was doing. And, like, yes, was Scooter Braun not always like the nicest to her? No, I don't really think so. Like, her, you know, they kind of made fun of her with the whole Kanye shit, whatever. But like, it's not like Scooter Braun was doing his business with that whole situation. Like, he bought Big Machine, he got whatever he got fair and square. Like, does it suck for Taylor? Yes, but that was the decision she made. There are the receipts. Like, she, you know, said like, my new music and owning that is more important than me, like, than to like work under something where I have to like work to gain shit back. Understandable, whatever.
Sound like she threw a little fit.
Yeah, so it's just kind of like, I'm interested to see, like, because Taylor Swift, as we all know, up until recently, has been like silent about politics, which was definitely to keep certain parts of her fan base happy. Right. And now it's kind of interesting. I'm like, okay, so now you do have like, you know, parts of your fan base that are progressive or like do care about different stuff. So it's like, and now you're pushing like, you know, your whole rainbow, your pride, you're like, you know, Planned Parenthood supporting, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm like kind of interested if she's gonna come out like many celebrities did in the 2016 election and like openly back a candidate, especially after this sort of situation.
Right.
So it's just kind of crazy how entwined, like, you know, pop culture is to politics and things like that, and like how it could really.
It's hard to speak up or, you know, promote one thing without like letting it affect like other business or something, you know. So, mini main topic. I feel like you're a little off key on that one, V, but I'll let it go. I'm just joking. It's always off key.
Okay, I'm looking straight into. Hey, YouTube fans,
dude, she felt
looking straight into the camera.
She felt so.
What's happening?
Anyways,
Am I
how do you feel about
chivalry?
chivalry?
That's like one of those where it's like rivalry that I
Yeah.
always have an issue with. I have to really like think about how to move my mouth.
Right.
So like, I guess what are you asking? Is it dead? Is it necessary?
What
in
does
this
chivalry
growing
mean to
world?
you as a woman?
Okay, as a woman in the modern world, chivalry.
Not all right. So, what do you think of chivalry as itself, and then like how you accept chivalry?
I think personally, chivalry is something that has and can evolve. I think the old definition of chivalry is very much so based in the ideals of like a man opening the door for a woman and like, walking up to the door and like, bringing her flowers or like, I don't know, like paying for a date, like which, I mean, I think dates is like kind of depending on like who asked for the date, who set it up, like
how much did she eat? No, I'm just joking.
I think like I'm very like in my relationship right now, like we'll split, like last night, like I bought our ice cream, he bought our beers, like whatever, like we'll split stuff, but like like I think it's all about like
So you're saying that's chivalry?
I don't
both sided.
I feel like both sides, like, I feel like chivalry doesn't have to be specific to a gender anymore, especially because, like, gender doesn't, like, exist anymore. In the sense that it was, like, such constructed back then. I think, I hold doors for people. I like when people hold doors for me. I treat people. I enjoy people treating me. Like, I don't think, I like a random gift of flowers from my man. He likes a random gift of a t-shirt I got at a concert for him. Like whatever. Like I think chivalry really, I think it's kind of more of an outdated term, and I think nowadays it can just be attributed to like mutual respect. Like, and everybody likes to be treated. Like I feel like, are there plenty of women now, like even still, who like might go on dates just to get like a free meal? Of course, people are ridiculous. That was you. And but I don't know if like chivalry in the old sense can like truly exist nor needs to exist in today's world. I think it is more like, let's just shift that thinking into mutual respect and like caring and treating each other. Like you care, like when you love someone, you want to like treat them to something.
Yeah. No, I feel the same way about it. A conversation with like somebody came up about how him and his friends, like it was like I think 3 guys and 3 girls at dinner, and the conversation of chivalry came up, and he was just saying, he's like, the way I was raised, like you open a door for girls, like if like you're on a bus, like you get up if a woman's like there, and
I'm not offended by that.
Right. But these girls were kind of did get offended by it.
See, like I'm not offended by that.
I didn't think you would be. I was gonna say like
I'm not offended by that. Like I think that's nice, but and I would also like if I let's say a man got up for me on a bus, I might say no, like I'm okay, you were sitting there first, whatever. But I enjoy the gesture, or I might sit down. Depending on how I'm feeling.
I think he was more like the girls were being like, "What I can't stand like a guy could."
Like, no, like I don't think about it that way either. Or like, do I think like when a man pays for my dinner that
like, would you get up for a guy? It's like
if they were old, maybe. Like if I was just like
that's chivalry. Right?
Yeah, I think it's just like the whole like, well, and do you think I can't pay for my own dinner? Like, no, I'm not saying that. Like obviously, like I enjoy when my boyfriend pays for my dinner because I'm like, wow, he cares enough about me that he wants to financially, cover something for me.
Yeah.
Or like that's why like sometimes I'll cover. Like I'm very much so like I don't, I enjoy.
Like what if it was a first date and like they just wouldn't let it go? Like the guy and the girl's like, no, I insist, I pay for it. And he's like, no, I need to pay for this. It's the first date. Like she's like, no, I want to.
Then
I don't
at that point, like I feel like it should just be like, okay, let's just split it. Like I feel like especially like a lot of.
But he like the guy just felt like I was watching like this thing or something. It was like a dating show, and the guy like he would anyway. He's like, no, I don't even want to split it. I just want to pay for it. And
it's like you sometimes just like you gotta pick or choose your battles for that situation. Like I feel like if I was in that situation,
I'd be like, okay, I got the next one then.
Yeah, exactly. And
Right.
then you open up the door for a second date. So then you're like,
right.
exactly. Which I feel like I've used that on my own side, being all like, well, next time I got you, kind of deal.
But yeah, no, I mean, I feel the same way about it. Like, you know, as far as like, you know, you're walking to a gas station, you go inside or whatever. I always hold the door open for whoever's behind me.
Whoever,
you know, or, you know, and I'm not just saying hold the door. Like I'm literally like on the outside, like holding it for you. Like I'm the door guy and you go in and then I go in, not just like holding it like open for somebody.
Yeah.
So, you know, yeah, you're right. Like this shouldn't, for people, if you're on a bus and, you know, you've been sitting down for a while, someone comes up, they look like, you know, they could use a seat and it's a guy, you should get up too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's it. But I was just bringing it up because like I was wondering like well because I felt that's the way you would be about it because you know you like to be treated just like anybody likes to be treated like you know like
I feel like and it's kind of funny because there's definitely times like I'm a big door holder but like there's definitely times where I'm like in mixed company where like I might you know pass through the door and then it's a double door and I grab the other one and like there's plenty of times where like dudes kind of like they're like no go. And I'm like, I'm already holding the door, man. Like, it's okay.
Yeah, that's
you can just walk through. Like, it's ain't no thing. And it's
I don't hold it up. Like,
it's like usually a lot of like I feel.
I'll
like
usually be like this, and if they're like, oh no, you go, I'm like, all right, I'm going.
And like I feel like some guys like that's like more of a masculinity thing where they're kind of like, whoa, like this is like my inherent. You know, as a dude, I should be doing this for you. Like, I feel like they almost sometimes think like, oh no, like. Am I gonna hold this against them another time or something? Like, no, like I'm just holding a fucking door.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I feel you. Yeah, I just thought it was an interesting thing. Like, I wanted to kind of see your take on it because, like, people, you know, for the longest time, is like you hear
chivalry dead.
Yeah.
Oh, chivalry is dead.
Why do you say it like that? I don't know. What is that? Like
hot crackers. What a scoop.
Jeez. Sounds like definitely somebody from like a racist time or something like that.
Racist time.
I don't know why.
We're living in that time, baby.
Right. I feel like whoa, that was deep. Anyways, you're just doing accents at a racist time. That's crazy. Okay, so why don't we get into some like Bachelor at news? So, it was an interesting week.
Men Tell All / the ending of her fantasy suite.
Oh, that was a shit show.
Oh, okay, let's get into it.
Yeah.
So they're in Greece.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she had sent Luke home.
Yep.
But what is home really? As we know, like even with Colton when he had to like go back and like tell people to go home or whatever. Like they hang out until like I think they're like told like okay like whatever.
Right.
So Luke P is coming back with a vengeance with a ring.
Mm-hmm.
Which supposedly the producers gave him to show that he was still serious. And he's like, I wasn't really planning on proposing. And I was like, okay, maybe this was more of a like, this is how serious I am situation. But we didn't even get to see that because he gets there and he gets into the line with like the other guys as if, and they
Which
don't know.
was genius, actually, for the show. Like, everyone else thinks, like, they're still part of the show.
Yeah, they don't know. They don't know if he was sent home or not. And, like, even, because then, you know, he pops up, and he's all, like, he immediately goes up to Hannah when she pops up. Okay. And quick side note, Hannah's outfit was atrocious.
Yeah.
That dress was from, like, 2001, Deb, where people got their prom dresses for cheap.
I wasn't feeling it.
Her hairdo was like Libby Lou with the earrings, with these big heart earrings. I was just like, you look like what I thought was hot when I was 10. And like, shit has changed. That was a different time.
Right.
And
back when chivalry was alive. Sorry, I just brought it back.
Anyways.
Call back.
But like, you know, he immediately goes up and is trying to like talk to her and she's like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Go home. I sent you home already. And the other guys were like, what?
Honestly, I felt like uncomfortable because I was like, yo, what if he like could have like gone crazy or psycho?
No, that's even like my mother was
Like I almost like felt like, what if he like shoved her? Like
he was scary. I felt
like, why was no one like around,
I
like
felt
close enough?
Scared. Like honestly,
Yeah.
like it kind of was like low key triggering. I'm like, this is kind of making me feel super uncomfortable. Like he kept getting in her space.
As a guy, it made me feel uncomfortable too.
Kept getting in her space.
Yeah.
And like wouldn't like she's like, no, like we're done, leave. And like even physically lifted up. This was the most iconic moment. Lifted up the little podium
She's like,
that
all right.
holds
Well,
the
she's like,
roses.
I'm not going to move until you give me some closure. And she's like, okay, well.
And sets it down. And I was like, perfect. It was incredible.
She's like, okay, well, if you're not
like,
gonna move.
he like kept like trying to, and like the fact I loved the guys, like even like Tyler C. This is where like I really love him so much. He's like, he just was like laughing at him. He's like, dude, you're just such a joke. Like when he was like, when all the guys kind of like surrounded him, and he's like, don't, like Luke P's like, don't lay your hands on me, and like Tyler, who's towering over him, is like, or what? Like,
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Well, I mean, not that I think Luke could take him still, but it was like the three of them. And he's like, "What are you gonna do? Beat all three of us up?" Like,
Yeah,
you know what I'm
like yeah,
saying?
and like what? Yeah, like that's what Hannah wants. Like Hannah wants you. Like no,
Right.
And just like even the way he was talking about it, leading up to like him heading to it, and even as he left, like when he finally left the like that rose ceremony, he like was very much so like, you know, she doesn't know. I know that she loves me. She just hasn't said it yet. I know this. Like she doesn't know what she's doing. And even like the way he was like, you're just leading with your feelings right now. You don't know what you're doing. And saying that to her, I was like, dude, where, like, what delusion are you living in?
Yeah.
That like you're saying all this stuff. And like even as he like left, he's like, she doesn't know what she's doing. She's making a huge mistake.
Yeah, and then how did he ended up just walking? Excuse me, he ended up just walking away after that, and
Yep, and then he walked right into, in our time and seeing this on TV, walked right into the Luke P show known as Men Tell All.
Yeah.
So I guess like.
Well, do you want to hear my thoughts on it?
Yeah. Okay.
Hold on, I just want to make
no!
sure. I got you. Hold on, I got you. Good girl.
Oh, God.
That was my impression.
As he started to break, I was like, oh no, he's doing a Luke P.
I felt so bad for Luke, or for Chris Harrison, because he had to like just sit there. He's like, okay, I'll wait.
Okay,
and he
I
just looks
guess,
at him. He's like,
like in reality,
and then the crowd behind them all are just making
they're
faces
just
like, what the
hell?
After like the sixth time he did it, it was just like, dude, this is ridiculous.
And I guess like that actual, like that part of that conversation, like in the actual filming, supposedly took somewhere close to 3 hours. And so the other guys are being held, you know, like in the green room, whatever. And that's probably why more of like Dylan, who's clout chasing, like
I hate that, man.
popped out to like say some shit, because like I'm sure, you know, as you're sitting in the green room, you're getting antsy. You want your face time. If you're someone like Dylan, you want your screen time.
Yeah.
You know, and you're getting antsy, and like if you're someone who actually cares, you also
He's trying to make it a Bachelor in Paradise.
You also hate hearing all this bullshit being spewed.
Yeah.
Especially because like a lot of what Luke was saying, he was like trying to even go back on like shit that he said verbatim, and I was like, we have the receipts, we saw it. I really wanted them to just roll back the clip, because like I was like, we saw this, like there's no editing to like what you said, like we saw exactly what you said.
The worst part of it all is that like he didn't say anything, like, you know what I'm saying, like he didn't say anything, and all he had to do was just be like, yeah, I'm sorry, but he just couldn't do that.
And like my thing is like, you know, they filmed the Men Tell All. The Men Tell All was probably filmed like not that long ago. And so that's like, you know, 3 or 4 months after the fact of like when he left, you know, the rose ceremony or whatever. So he had like 3 to 4 months to think about what he had done and what he had said and whatever. And he still comes back and he's going to be like, no, I wouldn't change anything. I was on a rescue mission. Which was condescending as hell, saying like he needed to save Hannah, and also like just saying like as he was someone who like needed to.
But that's how like born again Christians act,
control, which I don't say that's right. He like was very much so. He even like said the whole narrative of like, you know, this is how I expect my wife to act. I would like expect her to like whatever, and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, I think at one point I was just like, dude, what? He's like, yeah, the man is supposed to like lead the woman or something.
Yes, and I was, and it's just great.
It's like, dude,
all the dudes were just like, no, like what are you saying? Like, since when have you cared about like since when have you shown that you cared about like what Hannah wants or like whatever? The other guys that got so honestly, it lasted way too long that they let him hang out and whatever, especially because like he didn't really change anything. He didn't really say anything different. He just kept digging himself a hole.
Do you think he'll be on Bachelor in Paradise?
I think so.
Really?
Potentially, maybe.
I
Who knows?
just can't
Chad was on Bachelor in Paradise.
No, I know that would be make it if like, but like it just seems like that's like completely not the show for someone who's pushing this like very Christian agenda. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
So,
I'm surprised he's even on this show.
So yeah, probably maybe not. So who knows? Who's to say? But Mike,
like whoever his like religious leader is like, I can't picture them being like, yeah, you need to go on Bachelor in Paradise.
I don't know.
Like,
I don't know, man.
This is good for you and your relationship with God. Like,
I don't know. It seems his whole behavior just like was really scary. Just how he acted, and just like my mom was like literally like, she's like, do you think there's like something wrong with him? Like she's like,
there's definitely something wrong with him.
I'm like yeah, there's a screw loose, mom. Like there has to be. But other people that got the hot seat, JP.
I don't think he's like that much of a sociopath. I've seen like deeply religious people just be like so stuck in their ways of like how just like chivalry. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like there was a time where like women thought that was sexy. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's what all they wanted. But that's not like what the time we're in right now.
Yeah.
It's like read the room. Like seriously, like.
But yeah,
and he can't even watch the show. Like, you know what I'm saying?
He can't even. He just has no self-awareness, or just any. He doesn't have any self-awareness, and he doesn't have like any. He created this whole idea of Hannah and what she was gonna be for him, and wasn't gonna waver from that.
Yeah.
And like that's why he, even though like, and that's what they even like picked out. They're like, okay, but if this was like your deal breaker, why did you go back? Like, why did you fight to like try to get her back? And he was like very much, and he like couldn't even explain it. He didn't even have an answer. That was like one of his silence like moments. And it's kind of like, well, it's because he had created this whole like, this is more of like kind of his delusional, potentially sociopathic behavior, like where he has created this idea, and like that's what what he's gonna work with. But enough about Luke P.
Yeah, eventually they got him off.
And then he even left. Like he just left. He had to catch a flight, and so then Mike took the stand for a bit, got oohs and ahs from the crowd, was very much so like, little campaign to be Bachelor.
I hate when it's so obvious like that.
I mean, but who's to say he'll get it? I don't know.
I don't think he will.
I don't know. And then JPJ, John Paul.
That's who I think should get it.
Hilarious. I mean, but he's going on Paradise, which it looks like he's gonna get his heart broken on Paradise.
I just feel like JPJ should be the next Bachelor.
He's hilarious, and he's like
the way he was bantering with Hannah. He's like, Hannah, don't tell me what to do. Like that part was so funny.
It was so funny, and like the weird groupie that came up and cut part of his hair off.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, I don't know how to feel about that. Like, what if she just stabbed him in the neck right there or something on stage? It's like, how are they letting these people...
Yeah,
we live in a crazy world right now, and you're putting sharp objects on national television.
Yeah. I don't know. Yikes. And then it pretty much just...
But he's so cool. He's just like, yeah, go take it from me.
Shugara. He's like such a typical, like, he's from Maryland. My friend who like lives there, she's like, oh, he's from like this bougie area.
What's his name from American Pie? Did that pregnancy challenge?
Yeah.
He's like, John Paul Jones.
I love that. He loved that.
So funny.
But then we had Hannah, got the hot seat for a while, and she spent a lot of it apologizing for letting Luke P be on the show for as long as he was.
How do you feel about all that? Like, can you apologize? Should you apologize for something like that?
I think she wanted to. So if she wanted to, she could. I don't know if she had to. Yeah. I feel like, she was bamboozled by him. So it's not like really her fault, like she was bamboozled by his, like, that's kind of like how those kind of people work. They have the charisma, they have the whatever, they can manipulate you to a place where you're like, oh, whatever. But I mean, I think that's what she wanted to do. I think that's just kind of her personality. And she's like, it's been painful for me to watch back, and I realize now. And even
because I think she was just thinking superficially about it all. I
mean, yeah, and she even said that she was insecure about being chosen as the Bachelorette because, she's been billed as like, the quirky Bachelorette, like not like the normal girls, which whatever. And so I think, she was like, ooh, And I think she also has like a little bit of a complex from like never fully winning, you know, the pageant, whatever. I think she has a complex like she's like not good enough, which I mean everyone has that kind of complex, but I think it affected her in the fact that she's like, well, I don't know if I should even be.
I don't even know if that's the question, because like,
she
the
said,
whole season she was acting like the guys weren't good enough for her.
I know, but like she said, like on the show, she was like, I felt insecure about being chosen, and I think
I know that's what she said, but like in the next week's episode, she's gonna talk to her dad, and it's like not the first time she brought it up, where she's like, I don't want to marry any of these guys just because this is the show, like, you know, she's like pretty much saying that I don't think any of these guys are like even good enough. But I think
that doesn't mean that she's not still insecure about being chosen. Like, I mean, like she could think that none of the guys are good enough, but I think she was still initially insecure about being chosen, and then, you know, Luke P, hot from the start, was like, I'm here for you, I love you, and like she's like, wow, this is meant to be, like, you know, someone's here for me, like this. I
just think she has like a superficial way of looking at guys. Like she just picked the guy that she thought was like the hottest. Or
I mean, I feel like she's inexperienced with relationships. So that makes sense, you know, like when you're not like super experienced with relationships, and like one of your like the only couple of relationships is also on a reality TV show the season before. I feel like you don't have a lot of time to develop how you look at those kinds of things. I think that's why she struggled so much this season about making decisions.
Well, the best part about that show is them talking about Bachelor in Paradise, because like I'm
over
this season. Yeah, I'm like over this season. I
really just want to know what girl Demi gets with.
Yeah, Demi's bisexual. Holy cow. And yeah, do you have an idea?
I don't know.
I saw Kayla making out with homeboy. I'm just like,
with
damn.
Dean, and then also with
Dean. Damn, and his
also
mustache.
with Blake. I think she has a thing with Blake for a bit too, and then that was like part of the whole thing, was like the whole like multiple.
Do you think Dean will get back in his old ways?
I don't know. I don't know if he's just gonna let Blake do that.
I feel like Dean's gonna go back to his old ways. And don't let that mustache fool you, that nasty trash thing on his face.
Oh,
but
God.
The girls still love him.
They love him.
They love him a good Dean.
And it looks like one of the twins comes back, and Jordan comes back, Jordan the model. And I'm just kind of like, and obviously Derek, who was briefly engaged to
yeah, he looks like he's gonna
Taylor.
be like a villain.
He looks like he's gonna be a villain, which I feel like it's hard.
JPJ.
I feel like it's hard not to be a villain when you like, you know, you kind of had like one of the more wholesome love stories on the show, then that ends, and then you're gonna go back and like
I mean, I'm here for all of it, all the twists and turns.
I just, as I've said before,
and one thing my pet peeve about this is like, we have you episodes all summer. It's like, dude, summer's like almost over, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's why they do the 2 nights back to back for Bachelor in Paradise.
Right. I don't know. Like, I just feel like it's like they're like making me feel dumb by telling me that it's like all summer.
I mean,
it's
summer lasts until October here.
Does it?
I mean,
I guess so.
It's hot as hell here in Atlanta.
Well, and they also announced the Bachelor live show.
Oh yeah, with Ben Higgins.
Yeah.
I don't really get what that is.
You wanna go?
When it comes to Atlanta?
Yeah.
Sure.
So apparently it's like the whole season of the show in one night. So
it's like a theater production.
No, it's like the cast is the audience. Like they'll pick like girls from the audience or guys from the audience, and it's like a rose ceremony and like
it's like a
little
game
mini
show.
date. Like it's like a night of the Bachelor. It's like a Bachelor live, like the whole season in one night, like, you know,
wow.
type thing. So
do people propose on this situation?
They might. I don't know. That'd be great. I've seen like crazier things.
Okay, yeah, we should go.
Definitely.
This sounds like a social experiment I want to.
Right. I want to check out the tiers because it can get pretty expensive. I saw like $250 tickets, but they start at like $30 or $40 or something. But I thought it would be interesting. We have to go if it comes.
I mean,
here.
like we gotta.
Yeah. Just to say we did
sprinkle
it.
some tickets
right.
on chairs.
And then it'd be like
sprinkle some stickers. Excuse me.
If I get up on stage and I'm like the Bachelor getting to pick all the girls and stuff, that'd be so crazy. You got to like scream for me. You got to be like him, you know, like from the crowd. Yeah. You gotta do that for me.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much it, right? And
yeah.
Well, why don't we get into our slapper of the week? It was pretty funny because I honestly, I don't know why I didn't share it with you because I've been listening to it since
I've been listening to it came out. Same. Weird. Sometimes we're on that together. Like that's why I was like, I've been vibing to this.
Well, first of all, the artist Charlotte Lawrence, she's like the daughter of like an actress that used to be back in the day. But But regardless, she's like one of those like LA socialites, you know, can sing and dance and they're funny and they're on Instagram and stuff. And I'd been seeing her like she was in a relationship with none other than Chucky Puth, Charlie Puth, my favorite. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if they're still dating anymore, but they were kind of canoodling for a second. And that's when I got put on to Charlotte Lawrence, and I was like, oh my God, she is so hot. And like, so I started following her, and like now she just released a song that was actually produced by Charlie Puth and co-written by Ryan Tedder of One Republic and of the
Ryan
song.
Tedder's been like co-writing a bunch of stuff.
Oh yeah, he did Sucker by Jonas Brothers and stuff. So
I'm a sucker for you.
And then he's one of the judges on that Songland show. So yeah, this is definitely gonna be a bop. It's a slapper, and we both agreed on it. So when you posted it, you're like, I'm bit kind of like, listen, I was like, slapper. That's like, I swear I've been thinking of this as a slapper since last week. So
yeah,
it's been
same,
like,
because I like listened to it on the plane
yeah, it's pretty much the only song I've been listening to the past week. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Our slapper of the week is called "Why Do You Love Me" by the artist Charlotte Lawrence, and we're putting you on. So let's go.
Slapper of the week. This song slaps.
Slapper.
I guess for what I'm being honest.
So why do you love me? Yeah, yo, Why Do You Love Me by Charlotte Lawrence, our slapper of the week. And the reason why I did this to Veronica for like a half an hour before the show, but the reason why we chose our opening song is because it sounds just like that. Let me just play it for our listeners. This is Charlotte Lawrence.
I'm leaving.
This is Charlotte Lawrence. I just had to do it for them. You guys tell me if you hear the similarities, all right? And then our opening song sounds like this. Yeah! That's the same chords and the same key. Sorry. I think our listeners will be into
okay,
that.
guys, but my thing is like, you didn't see what happened. He went through 4 different songs that sounded nothing like that.
I finally got it,
He's
though.
like, this is it. Oh no!
But I kept playing the Charlotte Lawrence.
He kept playing. He's like, okay, this is Charlotte Lawrence. I'm like, I remember what it sounds like.
Oh man, thank you for bearing with me, V.
Oh, yeah,
do you have any shout outs?
Yeah, I mean, I already
I like
shouted.
how you blessed me. That's so funny.
Blessed. I already shouted out my brother Jack for his birthday, but today, as we record, it is my mother's birthday.
Oh! Happy birthday, Claudia!
Yeah.
Happy birthday. That's awesome.
And then also this weekend is one of our main compadres, Courtney Money.
See money.
Courtney Killian. It's her birthday.
That's what's up. All right. Well, those are your shout outs.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. My shout outs, last week was one of our listeners, Amber's birthday, my good friend. Want to shout her out. Let's see, who else do I got here? I already shouted out Puma and Victor. I want to shout out my friends Destiny and Kevin. They took me out this past weekend and I had a lot of fun with them. They were really dope. Shout out to you guys. And then what else we got here? My friend Chad, I got to see him. He's the homie. I always love him. He's actually.
I always love him.
Well, he's in my phone.
I never hate him.
He's in my phone under Chad My Love, so
wow.
That's forever. And then last but not least, my friend Kayla, got to hang out with her this weekend, and we had.
She spells it that way?
Yeah, and we had a little.
It looks like Kala.
Yeah, it was Kayla. It looks like Kala.
It does.
Yeah, it's like Nala, but with a K, but it's pronounced Kayla. We did
Poor
a little
girl.
kitchen slow dance, so that was cool. Shout out to her.
Interesting.
It's weird flex.
Weird flex for you, pal.
I don't know, man. People need to slow dance more in the kitchen. That's all I'm saying. It's a cool thing.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
Also, shout out to her because it was funny because every time we do something, she sends me a meme of something we just like. So she sends me like this meme. She's like, there should be more slow dances in the kitchen because I was like, hey, let's go slow dance in the kitchen type thing this weekend. And
What? Did you think you were living in a rom-com? What the kind of fuck kind of thing is that?
All right, let me explain a little bit. Let me explain a little bit.
Like, what?
Yes, I do think I'm living in a rom-com, V, so let me live. And then
my
also,
God.
it was at my sister's gender reveal party. A lot of like my sister's friends were there and stuff, but also my ex-girlfriend, my ex-girlfriend was there with her husband, and it's always just like a very like it's a thing.
It's an interesting
thing.
Yeah.
And so and Kayla is for some reason always around when that situation kind of happens and stuff. So she's just like always nice to be around then. And so I think everyone was in the living room. The only like quiet place away from everyone was the kitchen on the other side of the wall. So that's what that was about. And then we also got into a discussion about how like as like millennials nowadays, we were texting each other and then having a separate conversation on Instagram.
Oh yeah.
And I get to it. I'm like, yo, isn't it crazy that we're having two separate conversations at the same time on separate apps?
Yeah.
And then she sends me this meme. She's like, millennials.
That's such a
you
thing.
can have two separate conversations on two separate apps.
That's such a thing.
It's crazy. So those are my shout outs. Shout out to everybody. So episode 70, man. It's a doozy for sure.
Yeah, we made it.
Yeah, we did it. You got anything fun planned for the weekend? Oh, we are going to do a podcast episode, recording with a fellow podcast. We're doing a crossover event coming up soon.
So yeah, see it in your podcast feeds at the end of August.
Yeah. Oh wow, that's good. Yeah, it's a month away. So check it out. We're prepping for a cool crossover podcast with our homies over at the Back 2 podcast. Check them out. They got a 90210 recap, so we got to watch the last episode of the season to go over there. That's just like telling people to watch The Bachelorette if they don't even watch it when they come on our show.
I'm like, read a recap. It'd be more fun.
I'm just saying. You're not gonna watch it?
I'll watch it.
You're gonna read the Spark Notes on 90210.
Honestly, truly, I will.
Anyways, maybe we could just watch it before we go over or something on Sunday. Yeah. I don't know. But anyways, 71 next week, guys. I'm sure we're gonna have some cool things to talk about from over the weekend, even though it sounds like we're gonna be lame. But regardless,
I like to leave it a surprise. I don't really ever know unless like I'm going somewhere, like, or unless I already have something on the calendar, like. I go into my weekends being like, something will happen.
Oh, I know. Something always happens. But
I mean, I've got a lot on my plate right now. I'm just trying to figure out my life, so.
Yeah, I feel that, man. This is too real. Too real.
On that note, I think we need to end the podcast.
All right, guys. This has been Future Bachelor. My name is Cy.
I am Veronica.
And we'll see you next week. Deuces.
Bye.
What a weird way to end.
Future Bachelor Podcast.